India conducted a series of missile strikes inside Pakistan and Pakistan-administered Kashmir. The Prime Minister of Pakistan has termed Indian attack as an act of war and promised retaliation. Pakistan said that it shot down 5 Indian fighter jets, putting the two nuclear-armed neighbors on the brink of a war. To discuss this further, I am joined by Pakistan's Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister. Thank you so much, Senator Mohammad Ishaq Dar, joining us on TRT World. First of all, give us the sense, what is the situation right now? Is further escalation over, or we are still in a phase where anything can happen?
Well, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. You see, if you look at the Pahalgam incident, that's where it started off on 22nd of April. We just landed in Ankara on the 36 hours official visit of Prime Minister. I was accompanying him. And after the meetings ended, late night, we had this bad news. But then we issued a condolence message next morning. And since then, India has been creating hype and in the media and reaching out to the different capitals. So we've been doing, obviously, explaining our position. But we are on record that on 25th of April, Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif, while passing out, addressing the passing out academy at Kakul, he offered independent, transparent, international investigation. Now, our hands are clean. We know, we have been saying we have nothing to do with it. But India has been not leaving the rhetoric. No, it is we. And started off with, as you know, you're from media, huge media rhetoric, then campaigning Pakistan as a bad boy. So we did our job as Pakistan, and I'm sure you would agree with me that by a few days ago, the Indian narrative has completely failed. They were on defensive. Now, the more than a couple of dozens foreign ministers or deputy prime minister, my counterparts, or even one country's prime minister I've talked to, they have been obviously appealing publicly as well as in bilateral calls and discussion that both countries please are nuclear, as you said, nuclear armed states, and must refrain from escalating and should cool down. No escalating moves should be taken. So on behalf of Pakistan, since it's a government policy, we had on 24th of April, following the 23rd announcements of Indian side after the Cabinet Committee of Security in India. So we had said at that time that we will do the reciprocal actions, which we did. We said we will not accept the Indus Water Treaty in abeyance. This is illegal and against the international laws, and the treaty does not give any such, any such option to any party, which India and Pakistan, two parties. So you see, they have been trying to now. Some analysts are now saying that this is Pulwama 2. Now, what was Pulwama? Pulwama 1, yeah, Pulwama, or to be direct, was that in 2019 they created similar episode, and they called it obviously terrorist attack, and they blamed Pakistan. They created hype as they did this time in the media. They tried to convince, perhaps successfully, the global community. And what was the outcome? In no time, they declared Indian occupied Kashmir, Jammu and Kashmir, to be part of Indian Union territory. Revoked the Article 370, removed 35A. So some analysts believe it's a similar, action replay as Pulwama 2 for Indus Water Treaty. Now, this is a treaty under which we have our share of water, we being lower riparian, and Indus Water Treaty was signed more than 60 years ago. So this is obviously will not be acceptable in any circumstance.
Mr. Foreign Minister, if you allow me, I think you gave the background, that's fine. But certainly people, not only in India and Pakistan, but across the globe, want to know that where right now the situation is heading. I understand that there was a meeting of the National Security Committee in which it clearly stated that Pakistan will respond at a time, place and manner of its choosing.
Sure.
So some people interpret that this current military escalation is not over by any means. Pakistan may carry out some sort of attacks against India anytime soon.
You see, the Indian, Indian acts last night tantamount to acts of war. They attacked the civilian in the name of or in the garb of imaginary terrorist camps. They are not terrorist camps. We have invited international media yesterday and we are ready today as well. So 72 casualties have been there, 26 killed, same number as Pulwama, and 46 injured. So Pakistan has the right, because last night perhaps it needs clarification that we did not take escalatory mode or move. We only acted in defense. The clear instructions to the Pakistan Air Force fighters were that you will only attack an Indian fighter jet which releases payload against Pakistan. So the 5 which were shot down are those which actually release the payload against Pakistan. I'm sure, and this is the assessment of our armed forces colleagues, that if they were given a free hand, the number of fighter jets shot down last night could have been as close to 10 to 15. So we have behaved in a very responsible manner. We committed to all those couple of dozen countries that we talked to that we will not be the first one to do anything. We will exercise restraint, and we have done it. Even in these worst circumstances, last night we did it. These are the instructions. But we are really in a very sad state of affair that India has done something which is not condonable. So the National Security Committee meeting obviously authorized the armed forces to act, and in any case, you have seen a couple of weeks ago after Pahalgam incident, Prime Minister Modi gave the similar instructions and authority to the armed forces of India. Secondly, reserving the right is our obviously international right under UN Charter 51. So the country will decide when, in what mode, and in which form we will react in future.
Okay. India claimed that their strikes were measured and non-escalatory, and the targets were what they called the terrorist infrastructure. What do you say to their claims?
Well, that's where they, their lie is exposed. Now everybody and the media has been visiting their attacks places. Not a single one there any terrorist camp, I can guarantee you, and international media and the local media is welcomed. Many went yesterday, many were due to visit today. So this is not true. The measured and all these terms are understandable, because when you remove that those were civilian, normal residential areas in all the places, then obviously the rest of the narrative just flies in the air. So whether it's measured or unmeasured, it was certainly unwarranted, certainly violation of the international laws, definitely tantamounts to act of war on their part, and we have seen the outcome. So despite our instructions of remaining and exercising restraint and not attacking any Indian fighter jet which does not release the payload towards our side, we have seen that the outcome 5 were down and 2 UAVs are down.
Okay. Has there been any diplomatic contact between India and Pakistan after this incident? Because we understand that a lot of international and regional players are working overtly and covertly, urging both sides to show restraint.
So this has been the international community appeal right from day one, barring maybe 1-2 countries which strongly believed that India, perhaps political compulsion, will have to do something. Otherwise, everybody, I must appreciate the international community I've spoken to, was in favor of, asking both countries to exercise restraint. We have been assuring them, our country's policy at that time, that we will exercise restraint. We will not be the first one to take any extreme move. But I'm sure they would have been disappointed by now. Few of those who were doing and who condemned Pahalgam and appealed to both have now condemned Indian acts, what they have done yesterday. So we are also in touch with the global diplomatic community, the multilateral institutions like UN.
But no direct contact with India at the moment?
No direct contact. No, there has been some interaction between the national security advisors.
Okay.
But our side, we registered as early as 6 a.m. Pakistan time this morning through a letter by our permanent representative, Ambassador Asim Iftakhar, to the UN Security Council, where only on 5th of May the closed door session took place to discuss from 22nd till 5th of May. So we have just written a letter which is to be distributed.
If I may ask, you said that there was a contact between the national security advisors. So you were saying that the national security advisors of India and Pakistan spoke to each other after this
There has been contact between the two. Yes.
So can we hope that these contacts may lead to some kind of escalation? Because in that statement, the National Security Committee, it said that Pakistan remains committed to peace with dignity and honor.
Yeah, absolutely. You see, many, international journalists asked me a question that both being nuclear states, do you think there is a chance of Pakistan reacting if there is an act of war? I said, listen, the national sovereignty, the territorial integrity, the dignity of the nation has no cost. If there is an act of war from the other side, it will be responded in a befitting manner. That's for sure. And we have, with exercising restraint, we have proved this last night.
Okay.
So our policy is very clear.
Okay. We know that many countries, especially friendly countries of Pakistan, showed support, and Turkey is one of the countries without any, explicitly really supported Pakistan in view of this brewing tensions with India. How would you, react to Turkey's response to this India-Pakistan crisis?
But we greatly value our friendship and brotherhood with Turkey. As I said, we were in Ankara, just landed when this episode took place in 22nd of April. After that, the more than a couple of dozen, interactions with the diplomatic global community included. One of the first one was with Foreign Minister, His Excellency, my brother Hakan, the Foreign Minister of Turkey. And let me also tell you a piece of news. This morning after the attack, which was almost past midnight, around 1 a.m., the first call I received was from Foreign Minister of Turkey. They were concerned. They're the first one to issue the condemnation statement this morning. One of the first ambassadors who reached out to me and the Foreign Office of Pakistan this morning, early hours, 5, 6, 6:30, was again included Turkish ambassador in Islamabad. So you can evaluate our brotherhood, our friendship, and a closeness. And after my earlier, not this morning's discussion, Turkey came out through President Tayyip Erdogan, a very supportive statement. And he quoted 2nd of April, then when we were there. So, Turkey is very close a very close brother to Pakistan heart and the nation.
Okay, one final question. Where do we go from here?
Well, it all depends how things move. We have reserved the right. The leadership in Pakistan would decide. Let's see what the global community does. They must condemn openly, what has happened, and the evidence is now there. 72 casualties. Infrastructure welcome to visit. See what type of terrorist camps they were quoting. So it was all imaginary, and this allegation has fallen on its own feet with no success. So I hope they think what they have done seriously, and we would obviously reflect at the leadership level our future steps.
Senator Mohammad Ishaq Dar, thank you so much. That was Pakistan's Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister speaking about the simmering tensions between India and Pakistan.